Hello, welcome back to our MLB 30 for 30 series. I'm Justin St. Peter.
And I'm Michael Hoeflinger.
Today we're talking about the Cleveland Indians. Sorry about the technology not working behind us. We don't have the slides for today's presentation. We'll talk about the Indians last year. They made the playoffs, but they lost a few pieces. Michael Bourne is one of them that's came back this year.
Yep, speed demon on the bases, gonna get hits a lot, and just gonna steal and be a force on the bases, and not really gonna hit for much power, but just a typical leadoff hitter that you look for.
Yeah, he's a top-of-the-line leadoff hitter who actually had low steal numbers and still had, I'm pretty sure, around the 40s. So the Indians have probably one of the top leadoff hitters in the game, would you think?
Yeah, you usually expect about 60 from him or so if he's on all year healthy, but 40 is still superior to almost every other player.
And then they also picked up Nick Swisher last year from the Yankees. He's in the starting to fall off in his stats, but he's still a very, very capable first baseman.
He always has that great on-base percentage, and really a good fit for a two-hole spot, and just going to give you solid at-bats each time, and really going to hold down first base well, I think, for them.
And then behind that, they have the all-world second baseman Jason Kipnis. Not yet a household name. I think that can change this year.
Yep, I haven't really heard much about him either, but from what you're saying, he's pretty good, and Robinson Cano-like status. So, yeah, if he can maybe he'll really stand out and shine and really look good this year.
The second baseman model of success would be probably Chase Utley from a few years ago. I recently read a few articles talking about how Jason Kipnis was putting Chase Utley type numbers up there, similar to Robinson Cano. I honestly, one of my bold predictions is I honestly think that he could be the top second baseman in the major leagues if he stays healthy all year.
It's a bold statement, but it could have that happen. One guy though that has proven himself is Carlos Santana. Guys looking at position changes just to keep him healthy and in the lineup every game. He was a catcher. They don't want him catching anymore. They want him playing first and possibly third, DHing, anything, just to keep him away from catching, but still in the lineup because they need his bat.
Yeah, if they don't have, he is their power bat. Besides probably Swisher and Kipnis, who can give you power as well, he is their power. He is their star. It's very interesting to see how a catcher will turn into a third baseman in the hot corner. I don't know about that one too much.
Yeah, defense is always a question when those guys come over, but gotta keep them healthy, and catching is gonna take a toll on him.
Yes, Santana's a great player, but then right behind him in the lineup they'll have right fielder, left fielder. Not sure where they're gonna play him, but Michael Brantley. He came over in the CC Sabathia trade.
Yeah, it was CC trade.
What do you know about him?
I like him as a player. He's got good pop in his bat. He's always, every time I seem to watch him, he's getting a hit. So I enjoy watching this guy play. He's another guy like Kipnis. You don't really hear much about him, but he's got a potential all-star written on him.
Yes, he is extremely underrated. They just signed him to like a 4 or 5 year deal for a lot, really cheap. So the Indians are really hoping he can blossom into that all-star like you just said.
Asdrubal Cabrera, a guy that's been an all-star before, solid shortstop, very good defensively, and better hitter than most shortstops.
Yes, he is a staple on ESPN Web Gems. All these crazy plays every year. But yes, he also is a very capable hitter and has actually started over Derek Jeter in I think one of the past 2 years.
Yeah, I believe so as well.
Then right behind him they'll have, they signed away David Murphy from the Rangers, who is a very solid on-base percentage guy and a decent hitter with not much pop.
Yeah, just a solid defense guy, I think. I mean, every time I watched him in the World Series the last couple of years with the Rangers, and he seemed like he was kind of the odd man out. He wasn't really the reason why they got to the World Series, but solid. He'll be a decent addition, I guess. I mean, batting at the bottom of the order.
Jan Gomes is the catcher, a young guy.
I like to say his name, Jan Gomes.
Yeah, that's about all we know about him.
Yeah.
He's a young guy. We'll see what they have in him. They thought enough of him to move Carlos Santana around, so he'll get his chance.
Yeah, and then lastly we got Lonnie Chisenhall at third base.
On the days that Santana's
not there. Yeah, I've never really heard much about this guy, but he's batting ninth in an American League order, so he probably wouldn't even make a whole lot of National League rosters, or at least on the starting lineup. But
yeah, he's a solid defensive guy whose bat they've been looking for the last couple years and really never really has developed. So in the days that they don't have Santana at DH, who do you think they're going to put?
Well, Giambi is that possible to DH, but I like his bat in the ninth inning for walk-off home runs, it seems. Jeff Francoeur, guy that has gotten playing time on a whole lot of teams. He can do it. Maybe Mike Aviles. Got a couple guys on their bench. I know they like to save these guys for pinch hit, clutch eighth inning, ninth inning hits that they thrived off of last season.
Yeah, Jason Giambi, kind of like Matt Stairs at this point of his career, where he's just a professional hitter. He comes up, pinch hits, homer.
Home run and win the game. He did that a couple times last year, and I think he'll have a couple more. And honestly, towards the end of his career, I don't think he's got any more than 2 years left. This may be his last year. It depends on how the team goes. But, yeah, he's still got some pop in his bat, though. He's going to really launch one out of there.
Definitely. Being in the 40s, he definitely can do an everyday role. So DH, possibly pinch hitter, that's the perfect spot for him.
Yep. Now going on to some younger players, the pitching roster is pretty young, I'd say. Justin Masterson's definitely their ace, very young pitcher, very underrated player that is going to eat up a lot of innings for you, and I think he's going to have a pretty solid ERA and potential all-star in him.
Yeah, he's sinker baller that's been working on the third pitch. A very, very, very good ace. I think I had enough varies in there. He will definitely hold those Indians over for you'll expect a good start every five outings. But the problem is they lost I don't know if they called him their ace last year, but he's at least their second best pitcher in Ubaldo Jimenez. He went to the Orioles.
Yep, it's tough to lose a guy with veteran experience like that and leave the whole rotation as pretty much young players, but Baldo he was trying to resurrect his career in Cleveland and did enough to get a payday by Baltimore. So they got to turn to these young guys to really fill in, and got some good names on there. I like Danny Salazar. I've heard that guy's got some good stuff.
Yeah, Zach McAllister, Danny Salazar, Carlos Carrasco, Corey Kluber, all these young guys that are all have been prospects somewhere, and they're all getting their chance the last 2 years.
Yeah, and they even have Trevor Bauer on there. He was supposed to be one of the top pitching prospects in the whole league, and takes him about an hour and a half to warm up. I've seen his crazy warm-ups in the pregame where he's throwing the ball from foul pole to foul pole and doing all sorts of stuff. He certainly cannot come out of the bullpen. They might as well if he's going to come out of the bullpen, they start warming him up in the second inning.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how you warm him up if you're going to go foul pole to foul pole.
Yeah, and while your team's warming up, I guess, real quick, have him play catch with the right fielder or something.
I guess. But yeah, Danny Salazar is another guy that's going really high in a lot of fantasy leagues. He had a couple quality starts when he was brought up mid-season last year, and they're really expecting a lot of big things out of him. Mm-hmm. He's one of the buy-high guys for fantasy.
Yeah.
But then, at closer...
boy. You can tell I'm a Brewers fan. You got John Axford. Oh, I don't know what to think of this signing. I mean, I loved John Axford when the Brewers were really good and he was unstoppable. But as teams started to figure him out that he couldn't throw strikes with the curveball, he's just stand there and take out. He really struggled. I mean, you would wait for him to throw you a fat one. And for a guy that can throw as fast as he can, he gave up a lot of home runs. And towards the end of his Brewers career, I didn't really think he was all that good, and I'm not a big John Axford fan anymore. I think he's lucky to even be considered a closer at this point. I mean, a guy that went from all-star closer to barely even being able to handle a sixth or seventh inning, and now he's closing again. And he did have spent some time with the Cardinals, and Cardinals seem to make every player really good, no matter how much they struggled on other teams. So if he can keep that with the Cardinals, maybe what the Cardinals taught him, maybe he'll be better, but I don't like this John Axford signing at all, but that's just me.
See, I like the John Axford signing. It's a nice short contract. If it doesn't work out, they can easily cut him or demote him or trade him. Last year, Oh man, we went to a couple Brewer games early in the season. As soon as he came into the game, we're like, oh boy, game's over.
Yes.
But then he got hot, and then he got cold again. They traded him to the Cardinals, and then he got hot again.
Yeah.
He's an extremely streaky pitcher, and every time the Cardinals seem to resurrect pitchers' careers.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully that's the case again for the Indians. I think it's a nice buy low signing. If he doesn't work out, he doesn't work out. But I still think he can do pretty good with the Indians.
But the Indians are not the Cardinals.
Yes.
But a guy that is in their bullpen that I like is, shocker, an ex-Cardinal, Mark Zevchinski. They call him Scrabble because he's got like half the alphabet in his last name. I like this guy. I mean, he's a left-handed specialist, but I mean, left-handed hitters, they don't ever seem to get any hits off of him. And he's a guy that comes in and could face a tough Prince Fielder or Josh Hamilton, something like that, and get the out.
Yeah, Scrabble used to be a top starting pitching prospect with the Blue Jays. Got traded in the Colby Rasmus deal to the Cardinals, and then wound up with the Indians.
Yep.
He can hit any lefty out you want. I honestly think he could do a bigger role than just a lefty specialist.
Yeah, I agree. I think he needs to be used more than just that.
And then Vinny Pistano and Josh Outman I've also heard of. Those are two pretty solid relievers. If John Axford does struggle, they have Pistano or Outman or whoever else they think they can put in the closer's role to fill in for him.
Yeah, my bold prediction is I don't think John Axford is going to stay through the closer role this whole year. I think he's going to have a couple blown saves early, and that's going to cause the Indians to have to make a move. And he may stay on the team, but I don't think he's a closer the whole year round.
Well, we will definitely see.
Yeah.
Potential all-stars for this Cleveland Indians team.
Michael Bourne, possibly. He's been in there a couple times.
Kipnis, for sure.
Yeah, I think Kipnis has a good chance, too, as long as he can make some SportsCenter plays and stuff. If ESPN can give him enough coverage, too, I think he could be on there. Carlos Santana, I think, may be their front runner for all-star candidacy.
Just depends on which position they're going to put him in for the all-star game.
Yeah, Michael Brantley and Asdrubal Cabrera as well. Those guys are solid players. Depends on what other players in their position do as well, but those guys have an outside chance looking in.
And then definitely Justin Masterson. He'll have a pretty solid chance as well, being the ace.
Yep. Out of the bullpen, I don't think anyone. Maybe Zevchinski, but it's tough for a lefty specialist to make the all-star game.
Yeah, I don't think anybody from the bullpen is going to make it.
No, not even John Axford?
No. Not even Axford.
Okay, well, that sums up my opinion on him.
All right, for where we think they're going to land, I think the Royals are going to pass them up this year. Royals might get a sneak into the playoffs, but I don't think the Cleveland Indians are making the playoffs. They're going to have a solid year, but just fall short.
Yeah, I think the Royals are looking kind of impressive with their roster rebuild, and I think the Royals, it's their time. They've steadily gotten better each year, and I think it's their time they jump up as just second in the division.
All right. Well, we have the Indians slated to finish third in AL Central. Thank you for watching, and next time we'll have
my favorite team, the Cincinnati Reds.
Oh, don't look so disappointed.
I know. Joey Votto, Jay Bruce. Oh, I just love those guys. Favorite players.
All right, thanks for watching. See you later, guys.